Hello students, I hope you all are doing good. The topic which we are going to discuss today is important world location, extremely pertinent for UPSC Prelims 2025. The important locations which we shall be discussing today are Philadelphia Corridor, Gulf of Mexico, Panama Canal, port points of Sri Lanka, few important geographical locations of Bhutan, Kurt Strait, and Tinton Island. So stay tuned with us. Okay, so the first geographical location which we are going to discuss today is the Philadelphia Corridor. स्टूडेंट सबसे पहले ये जानना ज़रूरी है कि फिलाडेल्फिया कॉरिडोर रिसेंटली न्यूज़ में क्यों था. इट वॉज रिसेंटली इनटू न्यूज़ बिकॉज ऑफ द ऑनगोइंग conflict between Israel and Hamas and the ceasefire terms between the two actors. So between the ceasefire terms, it was being said or it was being stipulated that Israel probably might even be talking in terms of withdrawal from this Philadelphia corridor. और इसी के चलते ये important geographical location is extremely very important for your prelims as well. स्टूडेंट सबसे पहले ये जानते हैं कि फिलाडेल्फिया कॉरिडोर आखिर है क्या. सो दिस इज अ नैरो स्ट्रिप ऑफ लैंड, जैसे कि आप मैप में देख सकते हैं, अलोंग गाजा इजिप्ट बॉर्डर. ओरिजिनली ये कॉरिडोर स्टैब्लिश हुआ था अंडर 1979 इजराइल इजिप्ट पीस ट्रीटी. It is again, as I said, a narrow strip of land along Gaza-Egypt border, 14 kilometer long, 100 meter wide. अगर आप geographical location फिर से देखें इस मैप में तो you will figure out it serves as a critical border area between southern Gaza Strip and Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. अब इसके फिलाडेल्फिया कॉरिडोर के बारे में स्टूडेंट्स कुछ और जानकारी भी बड़ी ज़रूरी है. So actually, because this idea is not only important for your prelims, you need to understand you can take forward these ideas for your mains analysis also. See, this has often been said that this Philadelphia corridor, which is a very narrow corridor, is actually a major obstacle in reaching a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. अगर मैं ये कह रही हूँ कि ये मेजर ऑब्स्टिकल है इन अचीविंग अ सीजफायर अग्रीमेंट, तो इसका रीज़न ये है कि 1979 में जब इजराइल ने सिनाया पेनिनसुला वापस इजिप्ट को दे दिया, उस समय फिलाडेल्फिया कॉरिडोर और उसके बाद से फिलाडेल्फिया कॉरिडोर को एक बफर जोन की तरह ट्रीट किया जा रहा था in order to maintain Israeli security and to prevent smuggling of weapon into Gaza Strip. लेकिन 1980s से ये देखा गया कि पैलेस्टीनियंस ने, और ये इजराइल की तरफ से आया है, कि पैलेस्टीनियंस ने एक नेटवर्क ऑफ टनल क्रिएट किया है अलोंग दिस कॉरिडोर. Recently, Israeli Prime Minister ने ये भी claim किया है that actually this corridor was a main route for smuggling of weapons, which was then used in October 7th attack. And this is the reason it has been considered. And this corridor is very critical for Israel in order to maintain a military presence so that in future any such attack does not take forward. This is the reason मैंने आपसे ये बोला कि this Philadelphia corridor is actually a major obstacle in reaching a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. Okay, now the second geographical location which we are going to discuss is Gulf of Mexico. सबसे पहले देखते हैं कि गल्फ ऑफ मेक्सिको न्यूज में क्यों था. So Gulf of Mexico was in news because in January 2025, US President Trump issued an executive order to rename Gulf of Mexico as Gulf of America. And this is the reason ये एरिया न्यूज में भी था और कंट्रोवर्सी में भी था. अब समझते हैं गल्फ ऑफ मेक्सिको की ज्योग्राफिकल लोकेशन. So Gulf of Mexico is an oceanic base and a marginal sea of Atlantic Ocean. जैसा कि आप मैप में भी देख सकते हैं. What are the boundaries? So the boundaries is United States in the north, Mexico in west and south, and Cuba in southeast direction. Also, if you can figure out, it connects to Atlantic Ocean through Strait of Florida and to the Caribbean Sea via the Yucatan Channel. अगर मैं ड्रेनिंग रिवर्स की बात करूं तो गल्फ ऑफ मेक्सिको की ड्रेनिंग रिवर्स हैं मिसिसिपी रिवर और रियो ग्रांडी. अब अगर आपको ये समझ में ना आ रहा है कि ये गल्फ ऑफ मेक्सिको पे कंट्रोल और ओनरशिप किसका है, तो लेट मी टेल यू इट इज शेयर्ड बाय यूएस, मेक्सिको एज वेल एज क्यूबा. Now, why Gulf of Mexico is so important for all these three countries? The reason is because of the large continental shelf, oil and natural gas extraction potential, as well as a huge fishery base. However, I would not say there are no vulnerabilities attached to Gulf of Mexico. No doubt it is prone to hurricanes and twisters due to warm waters as well as due to severe atmospheric conditions. However, again, if I take forward this analysis towards a mains analysis, then you can say that this renaming has sparked ongoing debates about territorial sovereignty, naming conventions, and the impact of unilateral action by one country, and in this regard it is US, on shared resources and identities. Now, the next important geographical location which we are going to discuss and is extremely important for your prelims is the Panama Canal. सबसे पहले जानते हैं स्टूडेंट्स कि पनामा कैनाल न्यूज में क्यों था. So Panama Canal has come up into news because US President-elect Donald Trump threatened to reimpose US control over the Panama Canal. अभी ये कॉन्टेक्स्ट जानने के बाद समझते हैं कि पनामा कैनाल एक्चुअली है क्या. So this is an 82-kilometer artificial waterway that actually connect the Caribbean Sea, and I'm saying Caribbean Sea which is part of Atlantic Ocean with Pacific Ocean. यानी कि अगर ऑप्शनल में क्वेश्चन आता है that it connects Pacific Ocean and Atlantic Ocean, then also it is correct. और अगर ऑप्शन में क्वेश्चन आता है that Panama Canal connect Caribbean Sea with Pacific Ocean, then that is also absolutely correct. The canal transports ships through Gatin Lake. So Gatin Lake also is extremely important as far as your prelims is concerned. अब वापस आ जाते हैं of the controversy regarding Panama Canal. So as I have told you before also, newly inaugurated US President Donald Trump is pushing to take back the Panama Canal, the world's second busiest interoceanic waterway after Suez Canal, spurring the concerns that US might even invade this small Central American nation. अब Panama Canal न्यूज में क्यों था? This is one of the reason why it has come up into news. But अगर हम इसकी हिस्ट्री पे जाते हैं तो we will even figure out that there had been issues as far as China's intervention is concerned. This is a reason it has also been said that within or amidst the US-China geopolitical rivalries, Panama Canal again considered to be a very important element to understand. अब हुआ क्या था that because of the climate change, because of several other issues, because of the drought issues, there had been somehow a lowering of the level of water as far as the Panama Canal is concerned. तो क्योंकि lowering of water हुआ था, this is the reason China actually offered some kind of help to Panama in order to come out from this crisis. And because of this, actually US is very much apprehensive that somehow this would involve a greater interference of China as far as this entire area is concerned. US ने एक और issue भी raise किया that it has repeatedly complained that the fees which is charged to the ships to use the canal is extremely high, and US have accused Panama of levying unfair tariffs on the US good. So this is the reason, as I said before also, US-China की rivalry के वजह से actually this Panama Canal again has come up into importance. US ने ये भी कहा है that Chinese troops are stationed at the canal, and this is the reason US feels कि US का control over this entire area might reduce if China enhances its control. This is the reason, student, I say that these kind of geographical locations are not only important for your prelims but also extremely important for your mains. Now students, क्योंकि पनामा कैनाल बताते समय मैंने आपको गैटन लेक के बारे में बताया था, so now it becomes important to understand what exactly is Gatin Lake. So Gatin Lake एक fresh water reservoir है, आप इसको एक artificial lake भी समझ सकते हैं. So this is a fresh water reservoir to the south of Panama. It is approximately 26 meters above sea level. It forms a major part of Panama Canal, and this is the reason जब भी Panama Canal comes into news, Gatin Lake also becomes extremely important. The next important idea regarding the geographical locations would be the port points of Sri Lanka. So there are several port points which are extremely important and which could come up for your prelims. But one important port point has been into news also recently. आप मैप में देख सकते हैं, this is the Kanke Senturai port. So now, why was it in news? In December 2024, Sri Lankan president comes to India, and apart from several other decisions taken forward, one very important decision which was taken was to explore the possibility of jointly working on rehabilitation of Kanke Senturai port in Sri Lanka. अब हम सभी को पता है that connectivity is actually the cornerstone of India's foreign policy, especially when it comes as far as India's neighborhood is concerned. This is a reason it has also been said that neighborhood first policy, of which Sri Lanka is a very, very important actor, it importantly takes forward connectivity as a primary agenda. This is the reason connectivity के perspective से this important port point appears to be important. अब अगर पोर्ट पॉइंट ऑफ कांके सेंतुराई इंपॉर्टेंट है, दिस इज द रीजन आई थॉट दैट अदर इंपॉर्टेंट पोर्ट पॉइंट्स कैन ऑल्सो कम अप इनटू योर एग्जाम. सो सेकेंड इंपॉर्टेंट पोर्ट पॉइंट्स जो आप मैप में देख सकते हैं, दिस इज पॉइंट पेड्रो. Point Pedro is located in the Jaffna district in the northern portions of Sri Lanka. अब कंके सेंतुराई और पोर्ट पेड्रो इसलिए भी इंपॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज दे समहाउ लाइज इन द जाफना डिस्ट्रिक्ट, एंड जाफना डिस्ट्रिक्ट हम सभी को पता है हैज बीन कोर एज फार एज द सिविल वॉर क्राइसिस इन श्रीलंका इज कंसर्न्ड. Another very important harbor I would say would be the Trincomalee harbor. अब ट्रिंकोमेली हार्बर की खासियत क्या है? दैट इट इज द फोर्थ लार्जेस्ट नेचुरल हार्बर इन द वर्ल्ड. एंड व्हाट इज द ज्योग्राफिकल लोकेशन? इट इज सिचुएटेड ऑन द नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न कोस्ट ऑफ श्रीलंका. ट्रिंकोमेली हार्बर फिर से न्यूज में आया था, नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ वन रीजन बट बिकॉज ऑफ टू रीजन. पहला रीजन ये है दैट ट्रिंकोमेली हार्बर में इंडिया इज टेकिंग फॉरवर्ड द कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ एन ऑयल फैसिलिटी. अब construction of an oil facility in Trincomalee Harbour actually is part of the four-pillar initiative which India has taken forward with Sri Lanka in order to help Sri Lanka come out from its economic crisis. तो ये फोर पिलर इनिशिएटिव जो इंडिया ने दिया उसमें एक पिलर है मॉडर्नाइजेशन, और मॉडर्नाइजेशन के अंदर ही हम ट्रिंकोमेली हार्बर में और उसके चारों तरफ उसके एंटायर एरिया में भी मॉडर्नाइजेशन करने की बात करते हैं. And with this regard, which are even creating a oil facility in near this particular harbor. मैंने initially student बोला था that Trincomalee harbor is important for two reasons. एक रीजन तो ये है कि India is creating its oil facility and India is also taking forward this important harbor in its modernization project. Second important idea which you can use during your mains analysis would be that Trincomalee is actually a counter or a response to India in terms of necklace of diamond strategy as far as China's presence through Hambantota port is concerned. Now, apart from Trincomalee Harbour, आपको next important harbour दिख रहा है, this is Alluvial Harbour. So Alluva Harbour is a commercial and a fishery harbour which is located in the Ampara district in the eastern province of Sri Lanka. Next important port की अगर बात करें तो इसके बारे में मैं already थोड़ा सा discuss कर चुकी हूँ. This is port of Hambantota. Hambantota port is a deep water port in Hambantota, Sri Lanka. It was opened in 2010. It is Sri Lanka's second largest port after Colombo port. And right now it is under 99-year lease to China. Hambantota port is a perfect example of debt trap diplomacy of China. Hambantota is also coming out as an important pearl as far as string of pearl initiative of China is concerned. This is the reason मैंने कहा Trincomalee is a response to Hambantota. Next important port जो हमारे सामने दिख रहा है, this is port of Galle. Galle Harbour is a natural harbour which is located in Galle on the southwestern coast of Sri Lanka. Apart from that, another very important port, and this is of course a very important location also, this is port of Colombo. So Port of Colombo is very important because it is considered to be the 25th busiest container port in the world. And of course, it is a very important port as far as Sri Lanka is concerned. The next important geographical location which I sincerely suggest students to take it is the geography of Bhutan, and especially as far as Bhutan China disputed regions are concerned. सबसे पहले तो ये जानना जरूरी है why Bhutan has been recently into news. So in December 2024, King and Queen of Bhutan were on an official visit to India. इंडिया की अपनी ऑफिशियल विजिट में कई सारे इंपॉर्टेंट अग्रीमेंट्स हुए विच ऑफ कोर्स वी कैन डिस्कस समवेयर डाउन द लाइन इन सम अदर वीडियो. बट ज्योग्राफिकल लोकेशन के बेसिस में दिस इज द रीजन भूटान बिकम्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. भूटान इसलिए भी इंपॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज भूटान एंड चाइना आर अंडरगोइंग अ लैंड स्वैप अग्रीमेंट. Now, if there is a land swap agreement between Bhutan and China, तो perpetually इंडिया को उससे कुछ issues हो सकते हैं. So now if you can find out in the map, you can figure out northern reaches of Bhutan में आपको दो areas नजर आ रहे हैं. This is the Jakarlung and the Pasanglung Valley. Now Jakarlung और Pasanglung Valley में चाइना ने अपना कंट्रोल कर रखा है. As far as the western area of the Bhutan is concerned, आपको मैप में दिख रहा होगा ढोकलाम एरिया. ये ढोकलाम plateau is also another disputable area between Bhutan and China. सेकेंड वाले मैप में आपको सैंगटिंग सैंक्चुरी दिख रहा है इन द ईस्टर्न फ्रंटियर्स ऑफ भूटान. ये ईस्टर्न एरिया ऑफ भूटान में है और सैंगटिंग एरिया में भी चाइना ने अपना कंट्रोल कर रखा है. नाउ व्हाट चाइना इज सजेस्टिंग, चाइना हैज ऑफर्ड अ पैकेज डील टू भूटान. सो चाइना इज सेइंग एंड आस्किंग भूटान टू गिव अप their control or give up their claim, not exactly control but claim over Dhoklam and Sangting in exchange for China withdrawing from 269 square kilometer at Jakarlung and Pasanglung in the northern Bhutan. अब हमारे लिए जानना बड़ा जरूरी है कि ये पैकेज डील चाइना ने भूटान को दी क्यों है. अगर भूटान जकरलुंग और पसंगलुंग के एक्सचेंज में ढोकलाम और सैंगटिंग का टर्म, सैक्टिंग सेंचुरी का जो क्लेम है और कंट्रोल है वो चाइना को दे देता है, तो यू कैन फिगर आउट ढोकलाम वुड बी वेरी नियर, इज लोकेटेड वेरी नियर टू अ सिलीगुड़ी कॉरिडोर. तो इसके चलते चाइना वुड बी वेरी नियर टू सिलीगुड़ी कॉरिडोर. और सैंगटिंग एरिया में अगर चाइना आ जाता है तो सैंगटिन इज वेरी क्लोज टू आवर अरुणाचल प्रदेश एरिया. So now you can understand why I have been suggesting you that geography of Bhutan and especially these areas are very important for your prelims perspective. Now the next important geographical location would be the Kerch Strait. अब Kerch Strait news में क्यों था? So again December 2024 में एक रशिया का ऑयल टैंकर carrying thousands of tons of oil product because of a heavy storm in this particular area got splitted, and because of this there was oil spilling as far as the Kerch Strait is concerned. So no doubt it was a matter of ecological concern, but ये Kerch Strait का area has been a very important geopolitical idea or a geopolitical conflict between Ukraine and Russia. But इसको समझने के पहले जरा इसकी geography देखते हैं. So some important facts regarding Kerch Strait would be that it lies in the Eastern Europe region. It is the only water body that connects, map में अच्छे से देखेंगे, it is the only water body that connects Black Sea with the Sea of Azov. It separates the Kerch Peninsula. Map में फिर से अच्छे से देखेंगे, it separates the Kerch Peninsula, which is part of Russian occupied Crimea Peninsula, towards the west from the Taman Peninsula that is under the control of Russia lying in the east. यानी कि एग्जाम में अगर ऑप्शन आता है that Kerch Strait is the only water body that connects Black Sea with Sea of Azov, that would be correct. एक और स्टेटमेंट आ सकता है that Kerch Strait separates the Kerch Peninsula and the Taman Peninsula, that would also be absolutely correct. इसके अलावा it is also very important because it's a very important global shipping route providing passage from Sea of Azov to Black Sea. It is also very important for Russia, a reason because it has been said कि major Russia का export be it in terms of LNG, be it in terms of crude oil, fuel oil, or Russian grains. All these export is actually taking forward from this important area of Kerch Strait. This particular area also came up into news because it was a key point of conflict between Russia and Ukraine after Russia annexed this peninsula from Ukraine in 2014. So basically जब भी हम Kerch Strait की बात करते हैं, it generally takes forward the idea of Russia's annexation of Crimea and the issue between you can say this entire Eastern Europe region or the Eurasian conflict involving Russia into news. The last important geographical location which we are going to take forward in this video would be the Tinton Island. सबसे पहले जानते हैं Tinton Island न्यूज़ में क्यों है. So recently there has been satellite images which has revealed a significant military buildup on Tinton Island. Of course ये military buildup China ने किया है and this is part of China's salami slicing strategy. अब जानते हैं Tinton Island का geographical location और इसके कुछ important facts. So it is a tiny island that is part of Parasil Island chain located in South China Sea. It is completely uninhabited till date. It is being said that this particular island, which lies in a very strategic position in this particular area of South China Sea, is being controlled by China, but it is being claimed by Vietnam and Taiwan as well. Now, although Tinton Island is largely uninhabited, it plays a very important strategic role due to its strategic presence, as I told you before, in the South China Sea. Also, it appears to be a very rich fishing grounds and a potential oil and gas reserve. This is the reason this entire area of South China Sea has been politically very sensitive, and right now it is considered to be one of the most important flashpoint as well as far as the geopolitical realities of the world is concerned. Thanks a lot, student, for watching the video. I'm sure it would be fruitful for your exams. We will keep posting such informative videos. Till then, keep studying. Please like and share the video and subscribe our YouTube channel, Aaradhya, the Gateway of Knowledge. All the best.